So the first thing we said in adjective, like for example, English, we have, I'm going to be using the same words. Yes, just a beautiful masjid, mosque, okay? Beautiful mosque. And we already know that in English, adjective comes first, the noun comes second, right? So you have adjective and noun. In Arabic, we already said it's the other way around. So what is mosque in Arabic? Masjid, right? Masjidun. And then we'll bring the adjective. What do you say beautiful in Arabic? Very simple. Jamil, right? Okay. So a beautiful mosque is masjidun jamilun. It's just the other way around. Because if you translate beautiful is jamil, and you should be saying jamilun masjidun, but that's not how it's done in English. So we'll learn. Okay, so that's number one. So it's the other way around. Noun plus adjective. Adjective. This is rule number one. Rule number two. Remember what I said about adjective. Adjective, you think about adjective as a copycat. So what it likes to do is the best way to think about, don't worry about what's the ruling on adjective. Think about what's the state of noun. Then you just simply copy everything else. So for example, we know masjid is, by the way, right now we all should be comfortable with the gender. By looking at word, this is very important. That's why I spend so much time on exercise doing the definite and indefinite, masculine and feminine, because as soon as we start talking about adjectives and even the sentence, you will see without this information, you can't do anything. You can't do anything. And this is not hard, as we showed you, that making a noun into definite is not hard, and vice versa. Same thing goes with the adjective. The gender. It's just a matter of adding ta marbuta, or matter of what? Adding alif lam, right? I don't want to go into that discussion right now, because I think we've covered it, and it will come in our classes as we move forward. But we should know, just by looking at a word, we should be very comfortable with at least guessing, having a very good guess whether the noun is masculine or feminine, or definite or indefinite. So for example, I'll give you an example. I'm looking at the word masjid. Just by looking at it, I'm asking, is it a masculine or feminine? I don't see any ta marbuta, so I'm guessing that is masculine. So I'll assume that is masculine. Second thing is it a definite or indefinite? I don't see any alif lam, right? And masjid is not a name of a person. It's not a pronoun, of course. It's not even demonstrative pronouns. So right now, these are the tools that I know, and none of this match. So as I said, by default, it will be indefinite. Okay. As soon as you know everything you need to know about noun, the adjective will just simply follow. So you will just do the same thing. You'll make sure the adjective is also masculine, and adjective is also indefinite. So with that, do you think we can do something like that here? Jamilatun. I mean, remember we said jamilun and jamilatun. Both of them mean beautiful. We say jamilun for a male, and we say jamilatun for a female. But both of them mean beautiful. But here, because it's an adjective, we're describing, we said adjective copies everything from the noun. Because masjidun is a masculine, jamilatun, we cannot use that version of the word, because we have to match in gender as well. So that is number one. So we have to match the gender, and the same thing goes for just because masjid is indefinite, masjidun, a mosque, we cannot use al-jamilun. We can't have jamilun. Both of them are what? Both of them are wrong. We cannot have al, we cannot have the marbuta. It has to match the definiteness, I don't know if it's a word, and it has to match the gender. Okay, so for example, we want to say the beautiful mosque. Okay, so how do you say the beautiful mosque? So we want to make it definite. So we're talking about the mosque, right? So how do you say the mosque? What do we have to do? We already have a mosque. This is a mosque. How do you say the mosque? Al masjid, Mumtaz. So we have al masjid. Now, remember, I'm going to ask you this thing. Al masjid. Okay. So remember what I said before, that the first part of this harakat, this belongs to the spelling, right? This has to do spelling. How do you spell the word? How do you pronounce the word, right? Because chances are, you understand what I'm saying. So up until the last letter, all of this has to do spelling. Whatever you're going to, these are harakat, like I'm talking about fatha, kasra, dhamma, you know. So for example, mim has a fatha, sin has a sukun, and jim has kasra. So these we cannot change. This has to do with pronunciation or the spelling itself. But the last one, what we're going to do here, what we're going to put here, what kind of are we putting? Fatha, dhamma, or kasra, or double fatha, double dhamma, double kasra. These, all of them has to do with the grammar, right? So this is something that we'll learn maybe inshallah tomorrow when we talk about this. So what are we gonna do here? Single dhamma. Okay, mumtaz, exactly. Remember, we cannot have, this is in Arabic language, just like in any language, there is always exception. You know, the teacher will give you a rule, just like in tamar buta, you see a tamar buta is feminine, you're happy, but then teacher breaks your heart just by saying that, oh, well, maybe not all the time. You're like, man, because then they give you all these examples when tamar buta doesn't make it, you know. But this one rule in Arabic language is like 100%. You cannot have alif lam and tanwin. Never in one word. Okay? So as soon as we added alif lam here, we have to lose one of the tanwin. So what happens is, so we have al masjidu. No more masjidun. Dun is gone. It became du, and we added alif lam. Okay. So if we said that now we want to describe the masjid that is beautiful, and we have to copy everything. Up until this point, we're not worried about adjective. We don't care what the situation of the adjective will be. As soon as we figured out the noun, now adjective becomes super simple, especially if we already learned from our last class that how to convert a noun, something from masculine to feminine, and vice versa, and indefinite to definite. So we have the noun, which is definite, and we have a noun, yeah, that's it, masculine. So what do you think is adjective is going to be? Remember last time we had the adjective jamilun. Okay, what do we have to do? We have to copy everything. So let's just put the jamil. Now we have to copy these two attributes. It has to be definite. Is jamil definite? No, it's not. So how do we make it? First of all, it was jamilun. How do we make it definite? Well, we add alif lam. Jayid. We add alif lam right away in your brain. Al jamil, mumtaz. Right away in your brain, it's like like in your brain will be giving a signal. Okay, I added alif lam, but I still see a tanwin. 911 is no good, so we have got to change that. So you have to fix that. So as soon as you add alif lam, we make it into we lose the tanwin. So al jamilu. Okay, so we got this part. Now we're talking about, is masculine. Is jamil masculine? Yes, jamil is masculine. We're done. So now we have definite and masculine, both of them same. Now we're saying the beautiful mosque. So this is this sentence was a beautiful mosque. Oh, maybe I should change this. That was a beautiful mosque. Now we're talking about the beautiful mosque. Okay. So what we learned here, the second thing is match gender. And the third thing, this part, the noun plus adjective, this is just a order of a sentence. A lot of book will not give you as the things that adjective does. But we're saying it because we're coming from the English language perspective. Just like I think even in some of the languages that I know, they say the noun first, then the adjective. So when they're teaching Arabic in their language, they don't have to come up with this point. So first thing you have to match is gender. Second thing you have to match is what? Definite or indefinite. My handwriting is getting weirder. That's fine. Okay, so these are the two things we know what we have to do. There are two more things that we have to worry about adjectives, but right now, these are not our concern right now, because it will be introduced, I think, a few chapters later. Okay, right? I can tell you what these two more things are, but I'll just maybe mention them. But as I said, we're not going to be worrying about them too much right now. Which we're going to be, one of them we're going to be start tackling from tomorrow, inshallah, which is the ending of the word. Remember, means the grammar of the word. So what did I say? The last harakat represent the grammar of the word. We'll go very detailed with this topic whenever we start it, hopefully tomorrow or maybe next week. So if it has to copy the grammar as well. A lot of people say the state of the word, grammar, however you want to think about it, but we're talking about the last harakat, this one. Meaning, if noun has a dhamma, adjective must have a dhamma. If noun has a kasra, adjective will have a kasra. If noun has a fatha, adjective will have fatha. So it will simply copy its grammatical state. Okay, so this is something we'll go really, really in details, because that's, we'll have lots of fun with that, inshallah. So right now we know what's happening because we said al-masjidu, and we're also saying al-jamilu. So we see that the dhamma exists in both of them. Why it exists and whatnot, we'll deal with them later. When we put fatha, when we put kasra, all of these things will come, inshallah. So maybe I won't write it right now, but I'm just mentioning it. Second thing it has to match is the number, meaning if the noun is a singular, then adjective has to be singular. If noun is plural, then adjective also has to be plural. Okay, so I'm just mentioning these things. So these are the only four things that adjective has to match with the noun. But right now we're very good as long as if we understand that it has to match the gender and the definiteness. Okay, so what I want to, especially when we're reading Quran, we have to understand or at least identify which one is adjective and which one is not adjective just by looking at it, even if we don't understand the meaning right now. Okay, so you understand. So this is something that will be very important to be able to identify if something is adjective or not. Okay, so we'll do some of this exercise. We'll be reading the books right now. One more example in adjective. For example, we want to say a. I think we did that before, but just again, a beautiful girl. Okay, a beautiful girl. So let's see how we're going to be translating this phrase into Arabic language. So first thing we're going to do is translate word by word, right? So beautiful in Arabic is what? Jamil. And girl in Arabic is what? Bint. So bintun, jamilun. Okay, so the beautiful in Arabic is jamilun and girl in Arabic is bintun. Okay, so how do we start? The first thing we said that in Arabic, the noun comes first. Okay, so I'll put the noun first. Bin, I don't want to confuse you by writing like that. Bintun Okay, so we got that one. Second thing comes is the adjective. Okay, now before we get into adjective, we have to make sure our noun is good. Noun is sound. It says a, so we're talking indefinite. So bintun looks like everything is fine, right? There's no alif lam. We have tanwin. Everything looks good. Looks like our noun is checked. Now we have to bring its adjective, jamil, beautiful. So what the first thing we have to do, we cannot add alif lam, and we have to find the female version of this word, jamilun, which would be, how do we convert masculine adjective to the feminine adjective? Jamilatun, yes, mumtaz. So we say jamilatun. Okay. Here, as we said last time, even though this one doesn't have tam marbuta, but it's still a feminine word because it's, bint is a daughter, girl. It's a feminine, we're indicating something feminine, right? So that's how we do adjective. And the same thing now, if we want to say the beautiful girl, so what we have to do, let's do that. Shouldn't be that difficult. So first thing we change, make the noun into definite. So it's al bintu, sorry, say al bintu. Okay, so we cannot, we cannot do the tanwin anymore. We cannot say we cannot say bintun, so we can say al bintun. So we have to lose the tanwin. We add alif lam al bintu, and what we do with the adjective, same thing. We have to add alif lam. Same word, jamila. Same thing. Tun or tu. Al bintu al jamila. Right? It's pretty simple actually, right? So don't think it's super complicated. That's why the reason why I spend a lot of time explaining to the concept about the gender and definiteness is because if we're comfortable with these two concepts, you will see the language, a lot of those things becomes kind of easy, right? So as long as we know how to convert from definite to indefinite and gender vice versa, then inshallah adjective is not going to be that complicated, inshallah. So with that, is there any other questions? Because we're going to be going into books and we'll be reading and we'll see lots of examples of all of these things. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to say for today.